When fans of gospel music hear the name Guy Penrod, a powerful image comes to mind, one of a tall, silver-haired man whose deep, soulful voice can stir the hearts of thousands. Known for his long-standing role with the Gaither Vocal Band, Penrod has become a cherished figure across generations. His unique blend of Southern charm, raw vocal strength, and heartfelt worship has earned him respect in churches, concert halls, and homes across the world. But behind the bright stage lights and sold-out venues lies a story that many don't know. Guy Penrod's life has been anything but one-dimensional. It's a path marked not only by success but also by personal battles, spiritual growth, and moments of deep reflection. Away from the applause, Penrod's journey has been shaped by his unwavering faith, his family values, and the strength to face life's trials with quiet dignity. This story is more than a highlight reel of musical achievements. It's an intimate look at the man behind the microphone, husband, a father, a believer. From his long-standing marriage to Angie, to navigating public misperceptions and private setbacks, Penrod's life offers a powerful reminder that true greatness often comes from living with humility, not seeking headlines. His career with the Gaither Vocal Band was one of incredible success, but when Penrod eventually stepped away to pursue a quieter solo path, it wasn't just a musical transition, it was a spiritual decision. He chose family over fame, purpose over popularity. While others were chasing spotlights, Penrod was investing in his children's upbringing and nurturing his marriage. During seasons of both joy and hardship, staying grounded in an industry full of temptations is rare. But Guy chose simplicity when others chose spectacle. He didn't run from challenges. He faced them with grace. While his life hasn't been without its valley-strained relationships, moments of exhaustion, and rumors that come with public life, he never let those things define him. His steady faith remained the anchor through it all. His marriage to Angie Penrod, spanning decades, has been one of gospel music's quiet triumphs. It wasn't perfect, no marriages, but it endured, not because they had all the answers, but because they trusted in the promises they made before God. Through every trial and test, they leaned on faith, forgiveness, and the kind of love that grows stronger under pressure. What sets Guy Penrod apart isn't just his voice, though it's unforgettable, it's the way he lives his truth. His decision to slow down professionally and prioritize personal wellness and family stability wasn't easy. He could have built a larger platform, chased celebrity endorsements, or gone mainstream, but he chose integrity over instant success. He wanted a legacy that lasted, not just a moment of fame, and that's exactly what he's building, a legacy. One, not just found in albums or awards, but in the lives of his 8 children, in his enduring marriage, and in the countless souls uplifted by his music. His life is proof that true strength doesn't come from grand gestures, it comes from everyday faithfulness. As the years go by, the seasons of Guy's music career may shift, but the impact of his life continues to grow. His songs still echo through churches and homes, offering hope and encouragement. And behind those melodies is a man who chose to walk humbly, serve quietly, and love deeply. A Southern gospel legend's humble beginning. Born on July 2, 1963, in the small town of Taylor, Texas, Guy Penrod grew up in a home where faith was more than tradition, it was a way of life. Surrounded by the sound of old hymns and the values of a Christian upbringing, Guy's path toward ministry-focused music was set early on. He later studied music at Liberty University in Virginia, where he deepened both his vocal abilities and spiritual understanding. In Nashville, before becoming a familiar face on gospel stages, Penrod worked behind the scenes, providing background vocals for some of the most renowned names in Christian and country music, including Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith, and Garth Brooks. His distinctive baritone voice was in high demand, but something inside him longed for more than studio sessions. That deeper calling led him to the Gaither Vocal Band. In the early 1990s, it was there that Penrod's star truly began to rise. With his long flowing hair, charismatic stage presence, and booming voice, he became one of the most recognizable figures in Southern gospel. He sang lead on fan favorites like Yes, I Know, Alpha and Omega. And because he lives helping usher in a new era of gospel music, together with Bill Gaither and the Vocal Band, Guy traveled the world, ministering through music and bringing hope to millions. For over 14 years, he was a cornerstone of the Gaither homecoming tours, becoming a symbol of steadfast faith and vocal excellence. Yet through all the accolades, he never lost touch with the simple truths that shaped his journey. A family rooted in faith. While Guy Penrod's public life has inspired many, his private life has been equally meaningful. Married to his wife Angie, since the 1980s, the Penrods have built a life centered around faith, love, and dedication. Together, they've raised 8 children, all homeschooled and brought up in a home where Christ was at the center. Their family has long been viewed as a model of Christian values, strong, united, and purpose-driven. But like any real family, their path hasn't been flawless. Behind the curtain were days of weariness, tough conversations, and times when faith had to hold them together. Still, they remained committed to each other and to the calling they believed in. Their story isn't about perfection, it's about perfection. It's about staying the course when storms come. About building something sacred in a world that often forgets what truly matters. And that's what makes Guy Penrod's legacy so remarkable. To many, Guy Penrod is the embodiment of warmth, unity, and unwavering faith. His reputation as a cheerful and God-fearing man has long captured the admiration of fans across the globe. Over the years, he has consistently spoken with deep affection about his wife, Angie, often crediting her as the anchor who held their family together during the whirlwind years of his music career. While Guy was out on tour, bringing the message of hope and salvation through song, Angie was at home, managing the house and nurturing their large family, a role she embraced with both grace and determination. In interviews, Guy has been candid about how hard it is to be away from home for extended periods. He spoke about the emotional toll of missing milestones with his children and the strain it's sometimes put on his relationship with Angie. Despite their firm foundation in faith, they were not immune to the pressures that come with life on the road. There were quiet seasons of difficulty unseen by the public where distance, exhaustion, and the demands of ministry made things tough behind the scenes. However, both Guy and Angie were committed to keeping their marriage rooted in God. No matter the obstacles, though they never became involved in any public scandal. Rumors and fan speculation about tension in their relationship occasionally surfaced, particularly during the years when Guy was touring extensively with the Gaither Vocal Band. Balancing a high-profile music ministry and raising 8 children wasn't easy. Sources within the gospel music world have quietly acknowledged that long absences and ministry obligations sometimes led to personal friction. Guy himself once shared, "There were times when I'd come home and feel like a visitor in my own kitchen." That confession revealed a deeper truth, that success on stage means little if your family feels distant. As the years went on, subtle changes became noticeable. Angie began to appear less frequently at events, and Guy grew more selective about his appearances. Some fans began to wonder if he was stepping back from his ministry commitments to refocus on his family, and they weren't entirely wrong. Though no formal announcement of marital counseling or separation was ever made, it became clear that Guy was intentionally shifting gears. In 2009, Guy made a move that surprised many. He officially stepped away from the Gaither Vocal Band. As one of the most recognizable voices of the group, his departure raised plenty of questions. Was he burned out? Was there internal conflict? Or was he simply following a divine calling? Guy addressed it simply and honestly. He said it was time to pursue a new chapter, one where he could spend more time at home and reconnect with his family. "I didn't want to miss my kids growing up," he admitted, "and my wife needed her husband back, not just a performer." This transition marked the beginning of his solo journey. In 2010, Guy released his debut solo album, Breathe Deep, which introduced fans to a sound that leaned more into country while still holding true to gospel roots. His later albums, including Hymns 2012 and Worship 2014, were embraced by both gospel and country music communities alike. But these projects weren't just about music, they reflected a man entering a new season, where authenticity, simplicity, and spiritual integrity mattered more than fame. As his solo ministry expanded, Guy became more outspoken about his personal convictions. While avoiding political entanglements, he never shied away from expressing his beliefs on topics such as biblical marriage, family values, and religious freedom. Some circles criticized him, claiming he was too traditional or out of step with modern views. Others, however, found comfort in his unwavering stance. "I'm not trying to please the world," he once said, "I'm trying to live by the word." Too many, Guy came to symbolize a kind of gospel masculinity, steady, protective, and anchored in truth. In more recent years, health concerns forced Guy to pause and reflect. During 2020, he quietly took a medical leave, citing the need to rest and hear from God. He never disclosed a serious diagnosis, but he hinted at heart-related concerns. His fans were understandably concerned, but Guy reassured them that the break was a time of healing physically, emotionally, and spiritually. These quiet months also gave him space to strengthen his relationship with Angie, allowing their marriage to breathe and recover after years of long-distance strain. In 2021, a wave of false rumors swept across the internet. Speculations about a supposed divorce between Guy and Angie Penrod began to circulate, fueled by unreliable blogs and sensationalist YouTube channels. These stories were quickly shut down by family, friends, and insiders in the gospel music world, who affirmed that there was no truth to the rumors. The Penrods themselves chose not to publicly respond, a decision many interpreted as a sign of maturity and trust in God rather than a need to entertain gossip. In today's media-driven world, even faithful, God-centered couples are not immune from the claws of online speculation. These days, Guy continues to minister, but on his own terms. His tour schedule is lighter and more focused. He performs in churches, conferences, and family-oriented gatherings, sharing not only music but also short sermons filled with encouragement and biblical truth. His shows aren't about entertainment, they're about spiritual refreshment. Guy often speaks on topics such as biblical fatherhood, the importance of worship, and living a life of purpose. Occasionally, Angie joins him at events or appears online, standing by his side, just as she always has. Their children, now grown or nearing adulthood, have started exploring their own paths, some joining Guy in music or ministry-related work. The Penrod family remains close-knit even as life continues to evolve. Guy no longer seems driven by chart success or public acclaim. Instead, he's focused on finishing well, living a life that mirrors the songs he sings. Guy Penrod's life is not a flawless tale, but it is a faithful one. Through seasons of emotional distance, the pressures of touring, health setbacks, and baseless rumors, he and Angie have kept Christ at the heart of their journey. If your songs don't match your lifestyle, then your ministry won't last, he once said, and he lives by that standard. Whether standing under the bright lights of a gospel stage or quietly leading his family at home, Guy Penrod is a man marked not by perfection, but by perseverance, love, and truth.